Good afternoon, family. Hope everyone's well. Changing of the leaves, it's beautiful out there. I love fall, I do. It's part of the cycle of life. In today's gospel, it's all about love. It's about love. And an interesting thing is, in our society today, love is defined differently. Love is a many-splendored thing. Love is blind. Love is never having to say you're sorry. And on and on and on and on it goes. But one of the things that I learned about love, I learned years ago, probably in the early to mid-'80s, when my wife and I took a marriage encounter weekend. And one of the things that we learned on that weekend, and it's so true, is love is a decision. Love is a decision. Think about that. I had to make the decision to ask my wife to marry me. That was a decision of love. I had to say yes to the calling of the diaconate out of love for not only Jesus and God, but love for his people. That was a decision. And one of the things that I think is safe to say is sometimes that decision to love is a very easy thing to do, and sometimes it's not so easy, where maybe we have to reflect on it a little bit in order to make that decision to go forward and to love. Here's a simple example of that. I work 12 hours one day and I come home and I'm beat. So I get into my magic recliner, relax, have some refreshment just to kind of, unwind a little bit. And my wife is in her recliner next to me. She says, "Honey, would you get me a cup of coffee?" I got to make that decision to love. Now that's an easy one, really, when you think about it. But think about so many times that we may decide not to love. When that person is on that corner looking for a little bit of a handout, do we give them that buck that's in our pocket? Or we just, with blinders on, go right by him? We made a decision not to love. The decision to love. The decision to love in a Christian manner and in a Catholic manner is always other-centered. My love for you, God's people, my love for my kids and my wife, my love for whatever it is out there, is aimed at making the person or people that I am loving feel better. It's other-centered. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's about that person or people that I'm loving. Am I doing a good job in making them feel better about themselves, about their situation, whatever it is? And I have to consciously make that decision to love those situations and those people. Because that's what Christian love is all about. And sometimes it's very difficult, I always wanted to ask the Republicans, do you love the Democrats? And the Democrats, do you love the Republicans? That's a tough decision. So the decision to love, it's a hard one. And sometimes you have to take time with that decision. Look at our martyrs in the church. They made that decision to shed their blood for Christ in following in his way of the cross. And they made a conscious decision to give up their life for Christ. Well, let me go one step further. Jesus, he made a decision too. Remember in the garden, he said, Father, let this cup pass from me. He was right in the middle of a decision. And then he said, but Father, not my will, but yours. And he made that decision to love us so much that he died, was nailed to the cross, and suffocated, and had spears put in his side, because he loves you and I so very much. So the challenge as Catholics and as Christians is, how are we doing? Are we making that decision to love as Jesus did, as the apostles did, as the martyrs did? If not, that's really the challenge. We need to go deep within ourselves and say, and ask for help. Lord, I need some help with this. I don't like this person, but I want to love them. So that's your challenge. If that's where you're at right now, you need to pray about it and really pray about it. Maybe go see your spiritual director about it. Now, if you are at that point where you can love and you make that decision to love all the time, my brothers and sisters, if that's the case, you're not too far from the kingdom.